All right, Dad, what are we getting into today?
It's going to be a little shoulder workout. Long day at the hospital, 100 degrees here. Outside can inflict a little pain.
So today's video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a little Q&A during a workout, so hopefully you guys enjoy this. But first question is, and probably one of the most asked questions in the comments is, what does your current fitness routine look like? What is your workout plan? And what is just your overall philosophy with fitness as it stands right now?
So I am a strength and resistance heavy training mode right now. 6 days a week with one rest day or an active recovery day. And then 2, potentially 3 days a week doing cardio, which typically is a run for me. And that shift is fairly significant in comparison to what I've done over the years, just with long distance endurance type training, etc. But as I've gotten older, I think that muscle mass is the key, and so that's where I'm spending most of my time.
For this shoulder workout, what do we have on the menu? What movements are you going through today?
So quick warm up, just to make sure I'm good and loose. You know, shoulder joints after the age of 40 in men, you MRI them, they're never normal. Be careful with your shoulders. So quick warm up, standing shoulder press, 3 sets, and then kind of work my way front to the back, front raises, standing, and then laying Supermans on the bench, and then high pulls. That's it.
Cool.
Quick and dirty.
After 40 years of working out consistently, what would you say your biggest mistake is in your workout regimen or routine?
I mean, I think a lot of it probably stems from my personality, which is very much kind of an all or nothing type of attitude. Switch on, switch off. It's just my nature. That's really very positive in many facets of my life, but sometimes not quite so positive. I would say the biggest mistake is that I have gotten into overtraining cycles through the years, and just in this more, and exhausted my body, plateaued, or even hurt myself. And that's been even as recent as this last year. And I actually got some advice from a trainer as far as how to retool my workout routine, at which point he said, your workout routine's awesome. He goes, you're in a massive overtraining cycle, which is why your sleep is bad, which is why you don't feel good, which is why you have all this chronic joint pain. And he was spot on. Don't spend any more than 60 minutes in the gym, probably no more than 45 minutes to an hour on your cardio. That's it. I was spending 2.5, 3 hours in the gym, and a lot of it was because it's my mental break after long days at work, and I was really counting on it as my outlet, but it became, the marginal return started falling off, and I ended up really kind of getting into a deep overtraining cycle. Biggest mistake I ever made.
One of your pieces of content, you said you could out-eat any exercise you do. What do you mean by that exactly?
Yeah, I mean exactly what I say. Like, I mean, you can go for a 10-mile run and then come in and just binge eat or eat a bunch of trash and a bunch of unnecessary, unwanted calories. And all of that work is essentially for naught, you know? Same with lifting, you know, your energy expenditure is going to be set based on your effort level, and you can easily out-eat that in a very short period of time. So you have to be conscious about it. You have to be conscious about your eating. And it's going to fluctuate based on whatever your goals are at various times. We all fall off the edge, including myself, as far as, you know, the quality of the food we're eating, the amount of food that we're eating. You have to nudge yourself back to center, whether you're, you know, needing to trim fat and put on muscle. That's going to be kind of one scenario where you're increasing your protein, potentially decreasing your overall calories so that you can start to cut some of the fat, versus a bulk stage where, you know, you're trying to add weight potentially in some cases. That's rare for me, almost never. But certainly times when I want to try to add muscle, and so I'll change the proportions of what I'm eating into very high protein, very low carbs, minimal fat, and that tends to work pretty well for me for a distinct period of time, because I think over the long haul, dietary choices need to be sustainable and durable, not fads that you feel like, you know, you're going to be able to be consistent with. Do they have their place? Absolutely. But I think over the long haul, a good common sense, well-balanced whole food diets with supplementation as you need as an individual typically makes the most sense.
You just put out a YouTube video where you have put away alcohol for 1,000 days. You also go to bed very early. You eat mostly a whole foods diet. A lot of people would see that and say you've taken out all of the pleasures of life. And if we're all going to die anyways, why not, quote unquote, enjoy the things in life? What would you say to those people that have those questions?
Your body, your rules. I mean, I don't argue that those things are fun and pleasurable. I mean, everybody loves what, you know, a good piece of cake or ice cream or all the pizza tastes like. I mean, I don't think anybody argues with that. I look at it as how it makes me feel. And yeah, we are all going to die one day, but for me in particular, you know, I've had specific cardiac issues, and so number one, I want to try to change the quantity of my life. I want to watch my children grow up. I want to, you know, be a part of my grandchildren's lives. And so that's a choice that I make, just like other people make choices to continue to drink and, you know, eat fast food. I don't have an issue with that if that's what makes you feel good and you feel like that's the lifestyle that you want to lead. It doesn't work for me. We all have our own instruction manuals, and for me, cutting out each of these things has been absolutely exponential in the quality of my life. And it's not a willpower thing. It then becomes an actual aversion. Like, I don't want to feel that way. I really enjoy the way I feel now. But I have no problem if somebody else makes those choices for themselves, like at all. Not in the least. But for me, it's yes, quantity, because you know, I've had to face my mortality a little more directly than I anticipated I would have to at this age, but also the quality. You know, I really feel like, you know, the choices that I've made and I continue to make, and they change, are all about maximizing the quality of my life and living life in a way that I'm not blunted, affected, feeling poorly, feeling altered in any way, that I'm living life the way you're supposed to as a human being. For me.
Working out is a massive part of your life. Why would you say muscle is so important?
Well, I tell you, recently I heard Dr. Gabrielle Lyon make a statement that just totally resonated with me, and it's so incredibly true, that muscle is the organ of longevity. I just totally love that. And I think it's so true, you know, from, you know, just insulin resistance, glucose metabolism, weight control, balance, strength, being functional. I just think she really encapsulated it for me incredibly well, and I really appreciated that whole thought process, and I think that really sums it up. Muscle is the organ of longevity.
Your job is extremely stressful. How important would you say working out is, not only physically for your body, but also mentally at the end of the day?
Yeah, for me, that can be a real slippery slope, because this is my escape. Like, I crave getting out here and getting it done. Like, this is my meditation. to a large degree, and I have to be careful that I don't, fall into that place where I get into an overtraining cycle, because I'm really kind of craving the dopamine response that I get when I'm out here. But it's critical for me to have that contrast in my life as far as the intensity with which I'm working all day. I need to totally reset, whether it's go for a run, lift heavy, push myself physically. Really, before I come home, it just kind of creates that space for me to gin down a little bit, and that enables me to interact in a really much more reasonable way.
All right, so you're wrapping up your workout. What 3 tips or tactics would you recommend that people can start today to add to their fitness plan?
Reasonable goals. Get out and start. Consistency is the most important, and it's all about progression, not perfection. Consistency. Get out there and do it. It's that simple. It gets easier with time, more enjoyable with time. You're not going to see a change in a day, in a week, but over the course of months and years, it's transformative. Get out and get it done.